meeting for Thursday, December 21st, 2017 has now been called to order. We will have the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance by Mr. Scott. Please stand.
Father, we thank you tonight for your grace and your mercy on our lives. We thank you that Christmas, for the true meaning of the gift which you gave us, gives us the ability and the authority to stand here before you tonight. We ask right now for just your many blessings to continue to pour upon this parish, this state, and this country. We thank you right now that the year that we had, no matter where we were or what we did, that your eyes were upon us. We thank you that the year that is approaching, Father, will be better than the year that has passed because of your grace and your mercy. We thank you. We humbly say that we love you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Secretary, please.
Mr. Abshire.
Here.
Mr. Andrepont.
Here.
Mr. Bares.
Here.
Vice President Brame.
Here.
Mr. Collins.
Here.
Mr. Farnham.
Here.
Mr. Guillory. Mr. Landry.
Here.
Mr. Latour. Ms. Mayo.
Here.
Mr. McMillan.
Here.
Mr. Scott.
Mm-hmm. Here.
Mr. White.
Here.
And President Guillory.
Thank you, Ms. Kathy. At this time, for those of you that have cell phones or any type of electronic devices, we ask you to put those devices to silence so that we can conduct our meeting on tonight. And if there's anyone that want to speak on any of the items that are on tonight's agenda, we would ask that you would fill out one of the blue slips that are in the rear of the room. And please bring those slips up to either Ms. Kathy or Ms. Jessica, and we'll make sure and put you on tonight's agenda. With that being said, we'll move on to item number 4, Christmas musical performance by Mr. Mickey Smith.
Awesome.
Mr. Smith, please come forth and bring us some cheer.
Well, first off, Merry Christmas to everyone.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
My name is Mickey Smith Jr., and it's a pleasure to be here today. I thank you for giving me the invitation to come in and just share a little holiday cheer through music. And I don't ask anything except maybe just a little bit of Miss Treme's Mayhaw jelly. I heard Amen.
Go one, Mickey. Go one. Go one.
Slice of
Go one.
All right, here you go.
Go one, Mickey. Go one.
Gotta come get it.
Go one. Go one. Go one, Mickey.
You have not, you has not.
Winning. I'm telling you.
Yes, indeed.
Ask and you
Well,
shall
for me-
receive.
For me, this thing called music is a powerful thing because as an educator, it allows me to reach out to our youth, to that generation, show them that they too have an instrument. I believe everybody has a gift or a talent that can be accessed that needs to be utilized. And I truly believe that every child is one sound adult away from being a success and discovering their sound of success. So if anything, I hope that the music allows someone to see themselves beyond themselves and to discover their sound. So today, I want to give you a little Christmas cheer and start off with a holiday classic entitled Silent Night.
Wow.
And I can't tell you how many
Say amen.
times I'm able to speak to groups or speak to young people in particular. And the music, it's a way to not only reach but teach too.
Amen.
And it's truly a blessing to be able to be here before you, being a product of this community, having honed my skill and my gifts right here. Growing up, born in Mossville, graduate of Westlake
Amen.
High School. Go Rams.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
And a product of McNeese State University.
Yes.
And I say that because for me, this is more than just a place, it's home. And I affectionately call this South Best Louisiana. Because
Oh, I
I
love
see
it.
the best that it has to offer. And I hope each and every day that I can just represent that to the best of my ability and with the support of our community. So thank you again, and if it's okay, I'd like to give another song. If that's
Yeah,
perhaps-
absolutely, yeah.
Listen to another.
That would be a blessing.
Might as well.
So this is Silver Bells, but it's a little
Oh,
different.
that's my other favorite.
This is the Mickey Smith Jr. version. So
Okay, let's go
hope you
for it.
enjoy. See, I kind of grew up in the church, so we got a little gospel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds good.
I trade the Mayhaw jelly for a CD? Hey, you hearing me? Can I trade that Mayhaw jelly for a CD? Got it? Okay. That's fair, all right.
Mr. Smith, we can't thank you enough. And as sitting president, I really, truly made a mistake on tonight's meeting. It should have been a concert.
It should have been a concert, amen.
We can't thank you enough for what you do.
Thank you.
And you've made us all proud, Mickey. And you've played at more events here locally than anybody that I can even name. And continue what you're doing, and just always know that you're welcome here. Mr. McMillan.
Anytime I can do anything, thank y'all.
Yeah, Mickey, I wanted to say before you go, of course, he did mention Westlake, and he grew up in his garage here in Westlake playing where his dad used to say, man, you need to put that thing up. Well, I love that story.
As the story goes, my mom, I was playing indoors one day. It started in the house, but it quickly. Then you changed it. My mom looked at me when I played that first note. She said, I see something special in you, son. I just don't know what it is. You'll be successful. But the thing you don't understand, when she told me to keep on going, she literally told me, keep on going. And this continued until I was across the street in the woods. And I eventually tell the kids, sometimes when we do something the first time, we don't get the response maybe we were seeking. And I realize now as an adult, every time she told me to keep on going, she was actually putting me in a position to keep on growing. Exactly. And now, it's truly a blessing to be able to share this gift. But you're right, when it started, it wasn't quite.
And then one other thing, too, that I wanted to mention, 2 years ago, Mickey, if y'all ever want to do this, if you have a family Christmas, he'll come and for a little, he's a school teacher, so help him out with a little money. But he will come and play at your function. It's relatively inexpensive, and he does a wonderful job. He played Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, where I had the last dance with my mom. Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
McMillan.
Mickey.
Thank you, Mickey.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Great job.
Thank you so much. Moving on to item,
And I didn't mention he's Grammy nominated. He was
yes,
Grammy
he is,
nominated
Mr.
also.
Brown. I forgot to mention that also.
We're working on it.
Item number 5, take appropriate actions on applications for liquor and beer permit. Mr. Crane.
Mr. President, that's a hard act to follow.
Yes, it is.
I have 2 applications before you tonight and recommend they be approved.
I have a motion by Mr. Fornum and a second by Mr. Collins. Any discussion? Any objection? That motion will carry. Item number 6, consideration of approving payments of all current invoices and advertising regarding monthly budget to actual comparisons. I have a motion by Ms. Treme and a second by Mr. Abshire. Is there any discussion? Any objection? That motion will carry. Item number 7.
Move on, Sal.
Consideration of approving the minutes of the regular meeting of the police jury dated November 16, 2017. I have a motion by Mr. Andrepont and a second by Mr. Latour. Is there any discussion? Any objection? That motion will carry. Item number 8. Consideration of approving and adopt the fiscal year 2018 annual budget in accordance with Local Government Budget Act as followed. There are 3 bullets. Will you take those, Mr. Landry, also with your motion?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay.
I think we said it, Mr. Scott.
All right, then, well, thank you, Mr. Landry. Item A, approve proposed parish budget for fiscal year 2018. B, authorize the parish administrator, the parish treasurer, and/or respective departmental directors to make changes within various budget classifications approved herein without further approval. C, amend the fiscal year 2018 budget for those funds which deviate from estimated budgeted revenues and/or expenditures. I have a motion by Mr. Landry and a second by Mr. Scott. Is there any discussion? Any objection? That motion will carry. Item number 9, consideration of adopting a resolution approving notice of intention to abolish sewer district number 13 of Ward 4 of Calcasieu Parish, Louisiana, and fixing the date of a public hearing to be held at the regular meeting of the police jury on February 1st, 2018, to receive comments thereon. I have a motion by Mr. McMillan and a second by Ms. Treme. Is there any discussion? We do have discussion. Mr. Bares?
Thank you, Mr. President. Just fill me in on how we're tying all this up and where we are now, what state is it in as we're getting it, the sewer system.
May I, Mr. Gibbs?
You have the floor, Mr. Wainwright.
Holding off here.
You know, we're running the operation. This is sort of cleaning up the last little details of abolishing the district, so,
So everything's
yeah.
up and running
Everything-
just
everything
fine.
else is forward. Yes, sir.
We got all the alarm stuff situated, or?
We can get Mr. Freelo up here if you want some details.
Nah,
but,
we don't want all
uh,
that, but if I haven't heard
As far as I know,
anything, it sounds like it has.
everything's going
so-
fine, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wainwright, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bares. Let me just go back to, Mr. Guillory just actually walked in, and I know Mr. Guillory actually had Ms. Mickey come in and do that for us. So if you would, Mr. Guillory, would you like to have a few comments?
Yes, I want to thank Mr. Mickey. I don't know if you all know that Mr. Mickey also have an album coming out and also a book coming out. Mickey is known worldwide. He played with different bands around the United States, and we're great to have him here from Lake Charles, one of our own.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Thank you, Mickey.
From Westlake, baby.
Whoa,
From Westlake, Tony.
Well, I'm at Calcasieu Parish. Thank you,
Yeah.
Mickey, for everything. Thank you, Mickey. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Guillory. Moving on to item number 10. Consideration of taking appropriate actions as the governing authority
on
of
10,
Waterworks
both
District
bullets.
Number 5
Second.
of Ward 3 and 8, better known as Mallet Junction. There are two bullet items on that. Let me read those into the record. A, authorizing publication of notice of public hearing to discuss and obtain views and potential impacts related to a proposed project to construct improvements to water treatment plant and distribution system. B, adopt a resolution refixing the hearing date and authorizing additional publication of notice of intention relative to approval of issuance of taxable water revenue bonds. I have a motion by Mr. Landry on all bullets and a second by Mr. White. Is there any discussion? Any objection? That item will carry. Item number 11, consideration of adopting a resolution as a member of the Louisiana Local Government
Both bullets.
Second.
Environmental Facility and Community Development Authority. And let me read those two bullets into the record, please. A, termination of participation of Jeffries LLC in the public finance project. B, designation of Stifel, Nicholas and Company as senior manager and UBS Financial Services as co-manager of bonds. I have a motion by Mr. Andrepont on all bullets, and a second by Ms. Treme. Any discussion?
Okay.
Any objection? That motion will carry. Item number 12, consideration of adopting a resolution approving the call for an election by the Board of Commissioners of Community
Move on,
Center and
12.
Playground Districts, number 1 of
Second.
Ward 6, to be held on April 28, 2018, authorizing the renewal levy and collection of 5 mills on all properties subject to taxation for a period of 10 years, beginning 2019 and ending 2028, for the purpose of constructing, improving, maintaining, and operations community center and playgrounds within and for said district. I have a motion by Ms. Treme and a second by Mr. White. Is there any discussion? Any objection? That motion will carry. Item number 13, consideration of adopting a resolution approving the purchase of property located at Opelousas Street and August Drive, Lake Charles, within appraisal value of the property. I have a motion by Mr. Guillory and a second by Mr. Collins. We do have discussion. Mr. Guillory.
I just want to thank staff. This has been since 2004 that we have been working on this one, and we finally have been able to get everybody to sell that piece of property. So I just want to thank staff for working so hard to just try. That's going to be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Guillory. Any other discussion? Any objection? That motion will carry. Item number 14, take appropriate actions on abandon and revoke the original dedication of a bridge located at 3050 Charlie Moss Road, Sulphur.
So move.
I have a motion by Mr. Bares and a second by Mr. Forner. Is there any discussion? Any objection? That item will carry. Item number 15, consideration of
Move on
proclaiming
15.
Tuesday,
Second.
December 26, 2017, as a parish holiday. I have a motion by Mr. McMillan and a second by Mr. Landry. Any discussion? Any objection?
Mr. McMillan, can you call
do
my
have
office
discussion,
and
Mr.
get me the
Abshire.
day off?
If you work for the parish, I could.
That motion will carry. Item number 16 requires no action. Item number 17, take appropriate actions on a request by Thomas Daniel to rezone from agriculture to heavy industrial to allow industrial development
Move on 17.
in the 7800 block of Highway 27 South in Ward 4. The Planning and Zoning Board met on Tuesday, December 19, 2017, and voted 8-4 and 1 against to recommend that the request be granted with stipulations. I have a motion by Mr. Bares and a second by Mr. Scott. Do we have discussion?
Was it to uphold or?
Was it to
Move,
uphold?
excuse me, move to uphold planning and zoning.
Thank you, Mr. Bares. Mr. Bares,
With
motion
stipulations.
to uphold
Yes.
planning and zoning. Thank you, sir. Any other discussion? Any objection? That motion will carry. Item number 18, take appropriate actions on a request by Rebecca Lee to rezone from agricultural to manufactured home park to allow a manufactured home park at 7104 Carbina Road in Ward 3. The Planning and Zoning Board met on Tuesday, December 19, 2017, and voted unanimously to recommend that the request be granted with stipulations. Mr. Landry,
Make a motion to discuss.
you have the floor, Mr.
Second.
Landry.
Question, we are on 18. are
We are on 18, yes, sir.
Mr. Crane,
Yes, sir.
is this that property, it adjoins another mobile home park?
Yes, sir, it does.
Okay. I guess that's why you recommended that.
That is correct.
Okay. That was the main reason anyway.
Yes.
Okay. I've moved to approve, uphold.
Thank you, Mr. Landry. I have a motion by Mr. Landry and a second by Vice President Brame to uphold planning and zoning. Any other discussion? Any objection? That item will carry. Item number 19, take appropriate action on request by Westlake Petrochemical LLC to rezone from agricultural to general commercial to allow commercial development at 4797 Highway 27 in Ward 4. The Planning and Zoning Board met on Tuesday, December 19, 2017, and voted unanimously to recommend that that request be granted with stipulations.
Move to uphold planning and zoning.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Bares to uphold
With
planning and zoning,
stipulations.
and a second by Mr. Landry. Is there any discussion? Any objection? That item will carry. Item number 20, consideration of adopting an ordinance rescinding ordinance number 6966 due to the original owner filing bankruptcy, which prohibited the sale of adjudicated property. I have a motion by Ms. Mayo and a second by Mr. Latour. Is there any discussion? Any objection? That item will carry. Item number 21, consideration of authorizing the Director of the Division of Planning and Development to notify the following property owners to show at a public hearing on February 1st, 2018, as to why the structures on the property
Move to
as
approve.
stipulated should not
Second.
be condemned. I have a motion by Ms. Treme on all bullets, and a second by Mr. White. Let me read those into the record, if you would, please. A, 2541 Big Woods, Edgerly Road, Edgerly area, Ward 7. B, 4035 Geraldine Lynn Lane, south of DeQuincy area, Ward 6. C, 405 Lationas, help me out, Mr. White. Latchley Lane, south of DeQuincy area, Ward 6.
And the other one was Sandy Lane, you meant.
D, 423 Latchley Lane, south of DeQuincy area, Ward 6. E, 914 Manual Road, South Lake Charles area, Ward 3. F, 2763 Ryan Road, South Lake Charles area, Ward 3. G, 4021 Corliss Drive, Corliss area, Ward 4. H, 145 Brooks Circle, Moss Bluff area, Ward 1. I, 447 E Road, Moss Bluff area, Ward 1. I had a motion by Ms. Treme on all bullets and a second by Mr. White. Is there any discussion? Any objection? That item will carry. Item number 22, consideration of adopting a resolution for the following
Doing all bullets.
procurements, contractual or other related activities for the calendar year 2018 for the police jury and its departments and as governing boards of the following districts: Waterworks District Number 2 of Ward 4, Waterworks District Number 5 of Ward 3 and 8, Sewer District Number 11 of Ward 3 and 8, Sewer District Number 8 of Ward 4 and Ward 3, Fire Protection District Number 2, where applicable. I have a motion by Ms. Mayo and a second by Mr. Scott. These are annual housekeeping items, and due to the length, I will not read these items. Just let me know if there's anyone that have any questions on any of these items.
Good deal.
Any objection?
It sounded so heartfelt.
Those items will carry.
WW.
Did you
Thank you, Ms. Treme.
Kind of had my heart set
Yeah.
on you reading all this.
Not yet.
Did you read that?
Let's take a vote, roll call.
Moving on to item number 23, consideration of adopting resolution for the following items as requested by.
Move on
the-
23, all bullets.
I have a motion by Mr. Guillory and a second by Mr. White.
Make sure you're gonna get out of having to read all this.
My vice president wants to change it. He wants to go. Motion by Mr. White and a second by Mr. Guillory.
Well, that's right.
I will not read these.
If that's what you say, I'm gonna go on with it, Vice President.
That's what I said.
These items are annual housekeeping items, and due to the length, I will not read these all into the record. Just let me know if you have any questions on these items.
He reads what's on the prompter.
Objection?
Sounded so good.
Sounds great.
That item will carry. Item number 24.
Right? 24?
Yes.
Legal counsel, we good? Good. Okay. Item number 24,
We accept
take
that.
appropriate actions
Move
on
on
bids.
24.
Second.
We have
Third.
discussion, Mr. Landry?
We
Third.
do.
Okay.
I mean, they can pass it, I don't care, but.
Go ahead, you got the floor, Mr.
Mr.
Landry.
Beam, on item 24, I asked about this some time ago. You know, it wants you to take action on the bid received, but then there's no information there. And so I have to push about 5 buttons to be able to get to it. When it's 2 lines to read the whole thing. There's really no sense in doing that. Before, all of that information was right there on that item. We could see who bid on it, the amounts that they bid, and the recommendation. It's like 3 sentences.
We can look at
But-
the short ones especially to just add those in.
I mean, had I already went to it and looked at it, but there's no way that you can do that in the time. He would already be on 2 items below that. You would never be able to go to it in time to even look at the information.
We'll take a fresh look.
So please change that.
Thank you, Mr. Landry.
Have a motion on 24.
Thank you, Mr. McMillan. I have a motion by Mr. McMillan and a second by Ms. Treme. Is there any
Yes,
discussion?
absolutely.
Any objection?
I didn't say a word.
That item will carry.
What's
Item number
the
20.
length?
Item number 25, consideration of adopting a resolution accepting the following projects as substantially complete.
Move on 25 and all, both bullets.
Thank you, Mr.
Second.
McMillan. I have a motion by Mr. McMillan on all bullets and a second by Mr. Abshire. Let me read those into the record, if you would, please. A, 901 roofing replacement, first floor, hardening project. B, Burton elevator upgrade project. Any other discussion? Any objection? That motion will carry. Item number 26. Consideration of adopting a resolution of condolences
Second.
to be forwarded to the family of the late Miss Dolores D. Bico. I just want to take a minute to say Miss Bico actually lived in my district and was a huge supporter of me, and the thing that I love mostly about Miss Dolores is that she was the type of person that would always tell you something kind, but never let you forget if you misunderstood what she was saying to you as a person. And she just always was a good spirit. I think Ms. Dolores was probably in more organizations around town, her and Mr. Biko, than anybody. I want to say they were one of the first founders of actually Mardi Gras here in Lake Charles for what they did. And we can't thank them enough for what all they've done for us as young people, growing up to hopefully one day do some of the things that they've done in their lifetime. And I just want to say to the family that we're going to continue to pray for you. And it's always a hard time when we get to these items, but just know that she was well loved here in Calcasieu Parish. Thank you, guys. And I'll go to Mr. Guillory.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ms. Biko was a teacher, and they founded the Mardi Gras crew that I'm in 30 years ago, her and her husband. Wow. And she was the caretaker for her husband, and she passed. And he's not doing that well, but Ms. Biko was known around everything. She was big in the Mardi Gras, and she loved everybody in Lake Charles. She loved everybody. She was a great person. And like Kevin said, prayers goes out to the family. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Guillory. Is there any other discussion?
I don't know if you had a motion or a second. You may need a motion on that.
Yes,
I'll move.
I had a motion by Mr. Bares and a second by Mr. Guillory.
No, sorry.
Motion by Mr. Guillory and a second by Mr. Bares. Thank you. Is there any other discussion? Any objection? Thank you. Item number 27, consideration of adopting a resolution of condolences to be forwarded to the family of the late Jesse Vincent Collins. And this,
You have a motion?
I have a motion by Mr. Collins and a second by Mr. Pornum. If I could just also say a few words. Everyone know that Mr. Calvin serves with us, and this is his brother. And Mr. Calvin has such a huge heart for always wanting to help others and just extend himself in so many ways, just to be a kind-hearted person. And I can't say enough for what Mr. Calvin does and for the love that he has for his brother. And we just want to continue to uplift Mr. Calvin in our prayers, because Mr. Calvin is just such a great guy, guys. If y'all only knew Mr. Calvin the way that I know him, he's got a heart of gold. And we're just going to continue to pray for you, Mr. Calvin, and your family. And we love you. You part of our family, Mr. Calvin.
Thank you, Mr. Guidry. I appreciate it, and I just want to tell everybody that my brother Jesse was just a good fellow that he'd be missed a whole lot. He was just a person that would be able to help anybody that he could. And I just want to let y'all know that we're going to have funeral service this coming Saturday at Cumbree's Funeral Home from 8 to 10:20 a.m. And then we'll have funeral service at Immaculate Heart of Mary Catholic Church. And I appreciate all your prayers and support. God bless y'all.
You got it.
Thank you, Mr. Calvin. We love you too. And also, with that being said, I would just like to say, sometimes with bad, there's good. And for a lot of you that may know, Mr. Collins and Ms. Lou are celebrating 55 years of wedding. And we just can't say that the example that you and Lou has shown a lot of us young couples, Mr. Calvin, we applaud you guys for what you've done.
Mr. President. Mr. Collins,
And
I'm thankful for that, and letting you know that Butch and I on December 19th made 52 years. So poor Butch. That's why everybody calls him poor old Butch, because he has to live with me.
At this time, I would like to go to Mr. McMillan for a point of personal privilege.
Hey, if y'all seen me stand up every now and then, it's because I had surgery yesterday. Dr. Wolf went in and removed a cyst from L4 and N5, and I'm doing a great job in recovery. But here's the deal. Sue is having to drive me around. I just want to say thank you to Sue, because there's been some moments that I wasn't sure if I wasn't going to get knocked out in the driver's side, passenger side of the seat. I'd like to say thank you to my wife for taking care of me and nursing me. It's been about 6 weeks of pain, but I'm now out of pain, just on the road to recovery. And I just want to say Merry Christmas to everybody and Happy New Year. Thank you for supporting on the day off, the day after Christmas. for our staff. They do a wonderful job, and I'm thrilled that we have such great employees here at the parish. It makes our life as jurors so much easier. And I love serving with every one of y'all. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thank you.
Same to you, Mr. McMillan, thank you.
Very well said.
At this time, I go to Mr. Andrepont.
Mr. McMillan read my notes before the meeting started. To echo what he said, and I too want to thank staff for being there when we need them, and I want to wish all of you Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And it's a pleasure to work with y'all. And for 2 more years, I'm going to be here, and after that, guys, you're on your own.
We love you, Mr.
Heard that before.
Just also, before we adjourn, I would like to go to our parish administrator for a few holiday closing words. Mr. Bean.
Well, it's hard to top Mr. McMillan and Andrepont, but it means a lot. It really means a lot when you as elected officials express in public meetings especially how much the employees mean to you. They love working here. You've got a great staff. I know you know it, but I'm so very proud, and we're also very fortunate to have good leaders in all 15 of you. These things are not easy, and it's been a good year. We look forward to 2018, and we're going to continue to push hard to do what you want us to do. So
Thank you, Mr. Beam. With that being said, I'll move for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn by Mr. Chairman, and a second by Vice President. We are now adjourned.